It took everything in me to finally say these words out loud. He is abusive. My voice shook, not from fear of him in that moment, but from fear of not being believed. I had held this in for so long, tried to rationalize it, minimize it, survive it. But now, this time, I wanted someone to see me, to hear me, to validate what I knew deep down, that this was not normal and it was not okay. So I said the words, he is abusive. But their first words to me were always the same. Oh, I'm so sorry. Did he hit you? No, he had not hit me. And when I said no, it was like a switch flipped. Their eyes scanned my face, searching for something that matched their definition of danger. When they didn't find it, no black eye, no busted lip, no bruises, the warmth drained from their face, their eyebrows lifted just slightly, and their lips pursed. Their support vanished like smoke. Because in their minds, no bruises meant no abuse. No scars that they could see meant no pain worth believing. I watched their concern evaporate like mist in sunlight. Their expression immediately changed to surprise, doubt, confusion, doubt. Let's go back to that doubt. You see, the doubt was not of him. The doubt was of me, of my words, my judgment, my perspective. I could almost hear the unspoken thoughts going on in their head. It can't be that bad. Maybe she's exaggerating. Sure, he's difficult, but abusive? Suddenly, I was not a person in pain. I was someone being dramatic, misunderstanding, overreacting, hypersensitive. I was left standing in the aftermath of emotional devastation, holding the pieces of my story while they quietly walked away. Because, once again, in their minds, no bruises meant no abuse. No scars that they could see meant no pain that was worth believing. I had never felt more invisible in my entire life. I already knew that my husband didn't see me, but when the world around me didn't see me either, when my truth was met with silence, doubt, and averted eyes, it was like being erased in real time. It wasn't just surviving abuse, I was surviving the loneliness of it. The kind that whispers, maybe I really am overreacting. Maybe it really is my fault. That moment didn't just steal my support, it threatened to steal my identity. But I sit here in front of you today, and I say to you, if you really want to see my bruises, look at my kids. The bruises don't always show up on the outside, such as black eyes and broken bones. They show up in more subtle and extremely heartbreaking ways. They show up in the pain in our child's eyes when they are rejected, dismissed, put down, invalidated, unseen. They show up in the dance that our kids do, trying desperately to be seen by their parent. They show up when our child asks us, why doesn't mommy or why doesn't daddy like me? They show up when our kids beat themselves up for not being good enough, for not being perfect, and when they spend a lifetime trying to win this parent's approval that we know will never come. They show up when our kids are hooked yet again back into the manipulation and the love bombing. These bruises show up in the way that our kid flinches when a voice rises, when they get hopeful with a little breadcrumb, in the way that they scan a room before speaking, calculating whether it's safe to have an opinion or not. and in their excessive apologies over spilled juice because someone else's bad mood, for existing too loudly, or for even their own existence at all. These bruises show up in the tightness in their little shoulders, in the sleep they cannot find at night, in the stomach aches before school. They show up in their obsession with being perfect, with not upsetting anyone, with making sure everyone else is okay, while quietly falling apart inside. They show up in their deep confusion over love and safety. How the people who say, I love you to them also scare them, ignore them, and make them feel small. You want to see my bruises? Look at my kids. Look at how our children second guess themselves. Look at how they try to manage everyone else's emotions while unable to process their own. Look at how they carry the weight of an adult world on their little shoulders because the narcissistic parent refuses to carry it themselves. These are the bruises. This is the pain that you and I have endured. And this is why I was afraid to leave my husband home alone with the kids. No, he was not going to hit them, not with his hands, but with his words, so many times. This is why I fought so hard to protect them. Now let's talk about you. You are doing arguably the single hardest job in your life, and one of, if not the most important jobs in your life, parenting. And you are doing it under siege. You are doing it in a war zone. You're parenting in an emotional war zone without a partner, without a partner to plan with, to lean on, to cry with at the end of the day, to celebrate with. You're doing it with one hand tied behind your back, while the other shields your child or children from incoming fire. You didn't get to learn how to parent as a team. There was no one to bounce ideas off of, to share strategies with, or to tag in when your tank was empty. No one to celebrate the little wins with you, or to hold you when you felt like you were failing. There was no safe place to debrief after the hard days. No space to say, boy, that was hard, or to hear in return, you're doing an amazing job. There's no partner to say, hey, that bedtime meltdown, that was tough. You handled it really well. You did great. No one to offer you grace when you lose your temper, or to remind you that one bad moment does not make you a bad parent. No, you don't have any of that. This is just you holding all the pieces together, questioning yourself every step of the way. And somehow you still show up again and again. You are being gaslit into believing that your reactions were the problem, that all of this is your fault, that your boundaries were cruel, that your parenting was flawed. And all the while, you continue holding the emotional line for your children. You continue to show up. You continue juggling the endless tasks of daily life, meals, schedules, schoolwork, while carrying the emotional weight of two parents. You make the rules, enforce the consequences, offer the hugs, explain the confusion, and somehow, through your own tears, you keep doing all of this with love. You get up in the morning. You make lunches. You hold them when they cry. You sit through parent-teacher meetings. You kiss scraped knees and elbows. You learn about their friends, their fears, their hopes, their dreams. You give them what stability and truth you have to offer. You model love that is real, even if it's imperfect. When you are co-parenting with a covert narcissist, you lack a teammate. And that lack of a teammate leaves a gaping hole for you. It's like going into a new job with no previous training, no handbook, no mentor, and then being criticized relentlessly for not doing it perfectly. You're thrown into the deep end of the most important role you will ever have, and you're thrown in without a life vest, while someone stands on the shore pretending to be helpful, but secretly cutting holes in your raft. When you are co-parenting with a covert narcissist, you are counter-parenting. You are parenting against someone, against a negative force. It's not just that they won't back you up, it's that they are actively undermining you, distorting reality, twisting your words, and manipulating your children into doubting the very person who is trying to protect them. And let's be honest, under these circumstances, we are going to screw up. Of course we will. How could we not? We are caring for vulnerable, precious little minds and hearts, and we are doing it in a war zone. We're trying to raise whole, emotionally healthy children while someone else is actively working against us, eroding our efforts and creating chaos behind the scenes. We are trying to make clear-headed decisions while constantly being gaslit, confused, blamed, drained, and overwhelmed. Mistakes are inevitable. Yes, you're going to lose your temper. Yes, you're going to get upset. You're going to cry in front of your kids. You're going to say things that you wish you had not. I did. I went through all of that. This does not make you a bad parent. It makes you a human parent trying to do an impossible job in impossible conditions. Grace belongs here. Forgiveness belongs here. Not for them, but for you. You are being the parent that they need. The calm in their storm, the truth in their confusion, the safe arms they run to when the world doesn't make sense. You are the one who steadies them when everything else feels shaky. You are breaking generational cycles and building something better, brick by painful brick. Even when you're not sure it's working. Even when you cry after they go to sleep. Even when you question if you are enough. I'm going to tell you right now, you are. You are the parent who keeps showing up, and that makes all the difference. This path is brutal. It's lonely. It's full of second guessing and sleepless nights. It's full of confusion, doubt, and extreme exhaustion. And yes, we screw some things up. Of course we do. We are doing the hardest job of our lives without a map, without a partner, and someone keeps stealing the compass. But I want you to hear this. Your love is not invisible. Your effort is not wasted. Your children may not understand the full truth now. They may be going through a whole lot of confusion. But one day they will see who was there for them. They will see who showed up for them. They will know who saw them, who believed them, who protected them, who was there for them, and it will matter. It will matter so much. So if today you are feeling tired, broken, or like you're not enough, I want you to pause. Take a deep breath. Remember that you are doing holy work, invisible, sacred, life-changing work. You may not see the results today or even tomorrow, but you are planting seeds. They are there, and they are taking root. One day, when your child can speak their truth without fear, when they can love without strings, when they can see without confusion, when they can walk away from the manipulation, that will be the harvest of everything you have sowed in the dark. That will be the day that your bruises will heal. If you're wondering, when will it get better? If you're wondering when these bruises that you carry inside of you will ever stop aching, know this. Healing does come. Slowly, quietly, steadily. One boundary at a time, one moment of peace at a time, one day at a time. One day when your child laughs freely and you realize that you didn't flinch waiting for the fallout. There will be a day when your bruises don't define you anymore. when your story is no longer centered around survival, but around freedom, around joy, around being you. And on that day, you will look back and you will see the path that you have walked, not with shame, but with pride. You will see your scars as proof that you were hurt, yes, but more than that, as proof that you healed. You chose love over and over when it was the hardest, and you made it through. Because those bruises, the ones that no one believed existed, the ones that live in our children's hearts and eyes and nervous systems, they don't stay bruises forever. With love, with truth, with safety, they begin to heal. Slowly, they turn into resilience. They turn into wisdom. They turn into strength. And just as your children will heal, so will you. The bruises etched into your spirit from years of shielding, explaining, surviving, they will fade. They will become part of your story, but not the whole story. Because you are writing a new chapter now, one of healing, wholeness, and quiet power. The day will come when your child says, "Thank you for protecting me." When they stand tall and whole, and you realize you didn't just survive, you showed up. You changed everything. If this speaks to your heart, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. So many parents are suffering because of the pain of their children. You are not alone. You can learn how to parent through this and show up for your kids. Contact me today. The individual healing program I offer is the perfect spot for someone who is parenting with a covert narcissist. It provides the environment needed to be able to dive into the specifics of your situation. Visit covertnarcissism.com and click on coaching programs. And if you can't find it, just send me an email. Renee, RENEE, at covertnarcissism.com. I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you. I wish you and your children so much peace on this journey of healing. You have been listening to the Covert Narcissism Podcast, where we break apart the insidious nature of these incredibly destructive and frustrating to the ends of the earth individuals. If you are struggling with the isolation, overwhelming self-doubt, and obsessive ruminating, you are not alone. I offer live, personalized coaching that is specific for you. This coaching can be individual or group sessions, or a combination of the two. You can find all the information at covertnarcissism.com. Reach out anytime. My email address is Renee, RENEE, at covertnarcissism.com. And remember, I am not a therapist and you are not a victim, but I am a coach and you are a survivor. The information provided by Renee Swanson, Covert Narcissism Podcast, and CNG Life Coaching is for educational purposes only and is not to be used for diagnosis purposes. It is not intended to be a substitute for clinical care. Please consult a health care provider for guidance specific to your case. This material discusses narcissism in general. Renee shares stories from her personal experience as well as from those she has talked with for several years. Her material does not claim that any specific person has narcissism and should not be used to refer to any specific person as having narcissism. Permission is not granted to link to or repost this material to support any allegation or claim that any specific person is a narcissist. That would be an unauthorized misuse of the material and information provided.